Notice when the land grant act was passed, it was passed. That's what it took for the past. What it took to go to class, killing all around the world just to get ahead. Segregating and excluding black Americans from higher education because they know we built to win. Yeah, we built to win. I recommend you at the HBCU. I recommend you at the HBCU. If you want your good food, go to HBCU. If you want your summer jewels, go to HBCU. If you want your summer smooth, go to HBCU. If you want some learning tools, go to HBCU. I recommend you at the HBCU today.
Welcome to HBCU SOUL, the podcast where we celebrate the soul legacies, traditions, and incredible stories of historically black colleges and universities.
Hey, listen, from the past to the present, from the yard to the world, this is where education meets empowerment, culture, and community.
I'm Kareem Penn, Virginia State alum, educator, and lifelong HBCU advocate.
I'm Anthony Bond, your co-pilot on this journey through legacy, leadership, learning, and life at HBCUs.
So, you know what our mission is here at HBCU SOUL.
Same mission.
Same mission. We highlight different HBCUs each episode. Our focus is the legacy, cultural impact, and current developments, mixing the history, alumni stories, staff stories, student stories, and present challenges of the 100 plus HBCUs. So, for our prospective students and families, alumni, educators, advocates, and anyone who's passionate about black excellence in education, this is for you.
Hey, listen, we all know what it is. The purpose is simple. We want to inform, inspire, and connect with heart, humor, and truth. And of course, you know, a couple white lies in there.
a little white lies up in there.
Couple, you know.
Couple.
Don't ask about my freshman year GPA, you know, because I will lie when it comes to that.
Like, lie to make it, like,
Listen,
a story, or like a story of hardship, or lie like, yo, I was.
it's a story of overcoming, you know, new things.
Okay. So
Overcoming challenges.
Okay, so advocacy, you know.
Yeah,
adversity.
definitely. Listen,
Yeah.
like a phoenix from the ashes.
Okay.
I rose my GPA up to the point of, you know, where it was when I finally graduated.
Okay. Well, I guess the good thing about that is you got it to where it needed to be.
Hey, listen.
And you walked across that stage.
Did my thing. Ended on the dean's list.
And hey, can't be, you know, any more prouder than that. So,
all right. So, you know, of course, today we're actually going to be doing something special. So we're going to be trading the campus quads for the beautiful turquoise waters as we shine a spotlight on a hidden gem in the Caribbean, the University of the Virgin Islands, or as others might say, UVI.
Yeah. So did you know maybe that my father's family is from the Virgin Islands?
Didn't know that.
Did not know that. Yeah. So I have family in the U.S. Virgin Islands, but most of them live in the British Virgin Islands. So, so I've had opportunities to go out, visit, and actually visit the University of Virgin Islands. So
you've been to the Virgin Islands?
I've been to the Virgin Islands.
I don't remember ever getting any kind of souvenirs or like a keychain or nothing. Like,
well,
that's interesting.
Yeah, the interviews that I did while I was over there, I brought back so you can learn about all of that stuff. Yeah, my bad.
That's not a souvenir. Well, you know what? I guess you brought me a souvenir for the soul.
That's what it is.
Okay.
Like this hidden gem.
I got you.
Yeah. So as you can see, I love my HBCU, University of Virgin Islands. There it is.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
Where's mine?
My bad. So of course, for all of you who do know, I wear a different HBCU shirt with the episode that we're doing from our previous episodes.
And I'm a renegade, you know.
Yeah.
I wear my own thing. Today I woke up feeling proud that I'm an HBCU grad, so this is what I grabbed today.
Right, so we're highlighting that, right?
That's right.
And we're highlighting, you know, the University of the Virgin Islands. But, and you know, with every shirt.
Here we go again.
Bam,
Here we go again.
There it is. There it is. All right.
The viewers said they don't care about your sneakers. Like they texted me. Did they text you that?
No.
There's like, we don't really care about his shoes every week, every episode.
They say keep it going, right there. You know, part of the wardrobe. So yeah, so the turquoise water, I hope you all envision that right now, because we're about to dive into that. So that's our vibe for today. Caribbean culture at an HBCU mixed with that, Black culture of that HBCU foundation, but in the Caribbean. So we're gonna dive into it. Gonna share some exciting things about the University of Virgin Islands. This is HBCU SOUL. Let's get on to it.
Soul.
View of the mountains here on the island of St. Thomas here in the Virgin Islands. The University of Virgin Islands has two campuses, one on St. Croix, the other here in St. Thomas. Look at this. Tell me you wouldn't want to wake up to this every morning. I would. And this is the opportunity for you to do that. And what am I about? Access and opportunity. Just take a look out there. All you see is the Caribbean Sea. Oh my God, it is beautiful. So, anybody out there that's thinking about attending a historically Black college and university, here's another. One of the 107 universities, historically Black colleges and universities. Look at this. Beautiful. So, and we talk about what our mission is as HBCU SOUL, what it is that we're trying to deliver to the people out there. Enhancing and exposing and highlighting historically Black colleges and universities. And I know 100% that not too many people knew that there was an HBCU out in the Caribbean.
I didn't know.
Yeah. So how does an HBCU founding story reflect the culture, the historical and educational needs of its community? And how has that legacy evolved over time? So when I think about that, right, we're looking at the UVI, which was chartered on March 16th, 1962, as the College of the Virgin Islands by the Act number 852 of the 4th legislation of the U.S. Virgin Islands. So real quick, right, we have the 3 U.S. Virgin Islands, St. Thomas, the capital of the Virgin Islands, and St. Croix and St. John's. And then we have the British Virgin Islands, where majority of my family is from on my father's side. Tortola, Virgin Gorda, and I can't remember the other ones. So when it comes to the legislation, we're looking at the U.S. Virgin Islands legislation. The first campus opened July 1963 on St. Thomas, followed by St. Croix in 1964. According to the law, UVI's cornerstone objective is to provide for the stimulation, utilization of the intellectual resources of the people of the Virgin Islands and the development of the Center of Higher Learning, whereby and wherefrom the benefits of culture, education may be extended throughout the Virgin Islands.
Wow,
so I know that's a whole lot.
Yeah, that's a lot. That's a lot to take in. But it's just awesome that when I'm looking at the years it was founded. We got the '60s. And, it kind of makes me think about the civil rights movement, right, and how we were fighting for freedom here in America at that time. And it seemed like it might have kind of spilled over to the Virgin Islands, but kind of led to the founding of a college.
Right. Right, and that college being the University of Virgin Islands or the College of the Virgin Islands. So, the U.S. Department of Education classifies an historically Black college and university as anything that was created before 1964. So they just came in under that, right?
Okay.
But thinking about that and hearing that this college was created and for to provide stimulation and utilization of the intellectual resources of the people of the Virgin Islands. Think about that, the intellectual resources. So what are some of the things that could be going on in the Virgin Islands culturally that those individuals who live on the Virgin Islands can give back, or why were so many people interested in what the people on the Virgin Islands had to offer. So I think about farming, I think about the marine life and everything. So to hear it being classified as intellectual resources, that means those people over there were doing things that, you know.
I feel like probably doing things that, you know, the world needed to know about.
Right.
So, I mean, because when I think about this, just the fact that you were speaking about a population of, you know, darker skinned people as being intellects, that kind of jumps out to me at that time, especially when you're talking about the 1960s. You know, in the 1960s, we still were, you know, trying to get, you know, the Civil Rights Act in 1965.
Right.
So I don't know how intellectually respected, you know, we were here in America at that time. So that's interesting. It's interesting.
Yeah.
So, I mean, when we're talking about the school, you know, I know it was founded, but, you know, did you realize that originally it only offered associate degrees?
No.
That's it. Just associate degrees. You know, it didn't award its first bachelor's degree until 1970, and later on, by 1976, it had already launched into master's programs.
Okay.
You know, in 1972, it earned land grant status, and that's really important, creating an agricultural experiment station and cooperative extension service. Landmarks like the Reichhold Center for the Arts and William P. McLean Marine Science Center cemented UVI's commitment to research and culture. And by 1986, you know, curriculum and community expansions led to its renaming as what we know of today is the University of the Virgin Islands. And pretty much its formal designation as an HBCU, the only one outside of the continental United States.
I love that part.
The only one.
Only one.
It's interesting. You think about all the other places in the world, Virgin Islands is the only one that has an HBCU. So it definitely makes me think when I think about, you know, places like, you know, you got Jamaica and the Bahamas and, you know, all these other places where you have, you know, a majority population of black people, that the United States Virgin Islands is the only one that has an HBCU. I think that's awesome.
Yeah, that part. Just to be able to say that, right? You talk about Jamaica, you talk about, you know, all of the other countries in the Caribbean, right? For the Virgin Islands to have this university, and again, I'm willing to bet, like, how many people knew that there was an actual HBCU. When I tell people, like, there's an HBCU in the Caribbean, in the Virgin Islands, they look at me like, you was lying. And it wasn't until I had an opportunity to go back in 2012 to visit family that I was like, there's a university, right? And I looked it up, and it was like an HBCU. And I'm like, wow. Right? So just think, imagine if we didn't go to state and went to the University of Virgin Islands.
I don't think I'd have ever come back. I wouldn't have come back. Like, that's like a vacation and an education all at the same time.
Yes.
All at the same time, you know, just imagine, you know, coming out of class, instead of hanging on the yard, I'm hanging on the beach.
On the beach.
That's amazing.
Turquoise water.
You know what? That's it. I'm going to go get my master's from UVI.
Hey,
so
there it is.
I'll be gone for a couple of years. Gone to November, you know, then I'll come back. Of course. Keep that Caribbean vibe.
There it is. So later on, you're going to hear an interview that I did while I was out there with the Dean of the Department of Education. And she talks about that very thing, like master's degree programs for teachers, and how they can go about, students can go about getting their master's and their educational license to go back and teach, and some of the things that they're doing that are real innovative to create pathways for teachers. Okay. So, you know, you talk about it a little bit when you said I would, instead of walking on the yard, I would have been out on the beach.
Oh,
right?
yeah. Oh, yeah.
So.
In a Speedo.
Okay. All right.
Speedo and T-shirt and shorts.
Okay.
No, I can't have the shorts with the Speedo, but, you know, listen, it's a beach vibe. I don't even know if I would have even wore shirts to class because, you know.
Flip-flops and a Speedo?
Yeah.
Interesting.
And a UVI T-shirt.
I hear you. Okay. All right. So, when we talk about that very thing, campus life at, an historically Black college and university, and then one that just happens to be like on a beach, like it's like on an island, the beach is right there. Like, what makes student life at this institution so unique, from the traditions, the residence life, and the activism and academic support? So thinking about all of that, UBI student body numbers 2,138 people, all right? So
that's actually pretty big compared to some HBCUs on the continental United States.
Yeah. So, undergrad, that's that number. Looking to increase that by another 300, right? So 231 graduates with a 9-to-1 student-faculty ratio.
Oh, that's amazing.
Right?
Definitely getting that one-on-one time with the instructor.
Yes. Yep. So 88% of the classes are under 20 students, which then creates this intimate discussion on, like, when you talk about that one-on-one attention, you're able to then have those moments where, and we always talk about what HBCUs are founded as or founded on, this idea of nurturing and love and care. Mm-hmm. So when you have a 9-to-1 ratio and your majority of your classes are less than 20, you have, like, for me, there would be no excuse for you not to be able to thrive and excel, because you're going to get that attention. Mm-hmm. And if it falls into the tradition of what an HBCU is, that nurturing feeling is going to come about. And then being in the Caribbean, you already know what that culture is like, right?
Yeah.
So
family.
It's
like
right?
family. Everything is
family. So they're not going to let you, like, bail. Like, there's no excuse for you to bail.
Just imagine how good that cafeteria food is. Wow.
Oh my God. Some red snapper.
In the cafeteria? That's crazy.
I'm just saying.
That's crazy. Rice and peas in the cafeteria.
Rice and peas in the cafeteria. Jerk chicken.
I'm getting a master's, man. I'm going down to the UBI.
And the curry. Oh my God. Dude.
Well, I mean, that's amazing. When you talk about that, just having, 2,138 students, there's a lot of HBCUs here that are smaller than that, just having that many students, and they actually have, live-in dorms and things there also. About 25% of the students actually do live on campus. There are 6 resident complexes on St. Thomas, 2 halls on St. Croix, and, just think late night study sessions, potluck dinners. Yeah, it's a family. It's very, very safe. If you've been to the Caribbean, the islands, you feel safe. Everybody's friendly. Yeah. And again, I'm just keep going back to the red snapper and rice and peas in the cafeteria. Some plantains, like, listen, did I say it right? Plantains?
Yeah, I mean, I say plantain.
Oh, listen, I'm a little fancier with mine. Plantains.
You throw a little Caribbean.
Just a little something.
A little something, right? So, yeah, just 2,138 students on campus, and 1,500 of them are undergrad, and then 231 grad. But with that number, again, 88% of your classes are under 20 people. And, it's just... and
that means they must have a lot of different sections if they're breaking up that many people into small groups of 20.
Right. But that's spread out between 2 campuses.
Okay, I got you.
So St. Thomas and St. Croix, which, there's only 2 ways that you can get to either one of those campuses.
Yeah.
Right? So, boat, right, the ferry, or a seaplane. Mm-hmm. Yeah, so...
I prefer seaplane,
Yeah.
That's just my style, fly in.
Yeah.
I prefer seaplane.
I heard you go up and then come down.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's perfect.
Yeah.
And I'll probably fly it, too.
Yeah. Really? I didn't know you were a pilot.
There's a lot of things you don't know about me.
You're right. So, but just when you hear that, that's where those traditions and, that culture and the Caribbean vibe comes into play, right? So these students are bringing that with them to campus every day. Those who are coming in from the States to come in and get educated, those who are coming from other countries to come in and get educated, they're being immersed into that Caribbean life and that Caribbean culture, which helps to develop, again, that nurturing environment, that safe environment, that community environment, ultimately that family environment. So, I spent, the last time I went, I spent at least about 2 hours on campus, just walking the campus and seeing what the campus has to offer.
Yeah, you got a T-shirt too. One T-shirt.
I did get one T-shirt.
That's interesting.
Yeah, I did bring my daughter back a T-shirt. She didn't go with me the last time. The first, yeah.
But what about your co-host? I mean, yeah.
My bad.
Yeah.
So, so we talked about the campus life. We talked about what, how the University of the Virgin Islands came to be. So looking at what programs, whether it's the research initiatives or the faculty contributions, distinguish this HBCU in shaping future leaders and solving real world challenges. So, what is it that this school has to offer them unique from, the other HBCUs? So, thinking about programs, academics and everything like that, the UBI offers programs across 6 schools, from business and education to nursing, science and math, humanities and social science, and a growing school of engineering. Students can pursue 8 master's degrees and a PhD in creative leadership, innovation, and change. Popular majors include business administration, nursing, biology, accounting, criminal justice, hospitality management, psychology, and computer science.
Wow, that's awesome. I'm definitely interested in the PhD program. It sounds interesting. So PhD in creative leadership for innovation and change. Wow, maybe that'll be my key there,
Yeah.
What if my wife will let me go down there, alone and get my PhD?
That's probably not gonna happen. That one.
She might.
Yeah, I mean,
He might.
She may let you go to class alone.
Yeah.
But she going with you to the Virgin Islands.
We'll see. I think she'll think about it.
For like 30 seconds. It'd be like, what jobs are out there that I can do?
Hey, listen.
Yeah, so
we can all go. I'm just tossing things out there, tossing things out.
Yeah.
I mean, the thing about UVI, is that, undergraduate admissions actually has a 97% acceptance rate, which is amazing. SAT scores among those who submit range from 800 to 1020 on the ACT. 18. Oh, let me get it mixed up. I'm thinking about snapper. I'm getting mixed up. Let me start over. All right,
so you like your snapper fried, grilled, pan-seared?
I might have to bring Miss Pam with me.
From Virginia State?
Yeah. All right, so Miss Pam, we're going to the University of the Virgin Islands. Everybody, if you watch the podcast enough, Miss Pam was my favorite cafeteria supervisor when I was in undergrad, and I'm gonna bring her with me. All right, let me get back on track. All right, so SAT scores at UVI, they'll range from 800 to 1020, and on the ACT, they range from 14 to 20. Admissions focuses on GPA with no application fee. Let me say that again. No application fee. That's major. And a standard deadline of April 30th. That's an excellent opportunity. Again, no application fee. Let me say that. All right, transfer and graduate applicants enjoy a rolling admissions option and dedicated support services. And I think support services are really, really important because they get a lot of students from the continental United States.
Right.
So, if I'm sending my child to the Virgin Islands, I want to definitely be sure and certain that, you know, the student support services is going to be on point.
Man, so as you say that, like, I'm just thinking back to when I was there, and like the mountains are beautiful. The water is beautiful.
So we got mountains and a beach.
Mountains and a beach.
And rice and peas.
Rice and peas.
And red snapper.
And red snapper.
Yeah.
Yes. And it was just like, I don't know, like, yeah, up in the mountains, you're dry. Now, if anybody's ever been to the Virgin Islands and you have driven in the mountains in the Virgin Islands, you know what I'm talking about, right? First off, you drive on the left side of the road.
Okay.
But all the cars are like American-made cars, so the steering wheel's on the left side too. So it's like shoulder to shoulder is what they call it. So your shoulder to the shoulder on the left, right?
Okay.
So shoulder to shoulder. Speed limits like 25 miles per hour.
Okay. I like that. Nice,
Yeah.
slow Caribbean lifestyle.
Yeah, and when you're in the mountains, it's probably even slower than that. So it dips, it turns, and this and the other. So I enjoy taking risk and driving in the mountains. It's fun. I had fun. I enjoyed it. And then when I went to the British side to go visit some family, same thing, shoulder to shoulder. But there wasn't a lot of guardrails. Wasn't a lot of guardrails like on the U.S. side either. But
Yeah. I think I'll be at the beach.
Yeah.
I don't think I'm driving up in the mountains with
So
no guardrails.
I drove up in the mountain in Tortola,
Mm-hmm.
and it was at night. We just had taken a ferry over, and I'm driving up, and something said stop, right? So I stopped and then like turn. The next morning I wake up, and I'm now coming down that very hill that I was going up, and when I looked over, my son and I, like if I would have kept going, I would have fell off the mountain. Yeah, but I don't say that to scare anybody.
Well, parents, guess what? The campus is not up in the mountains. So
I mean, on campus you walk up some hills.
yeah, but it's different. That's hills. We're not talking about going up mountains. So don't worry. You know, your son or daughter will not be going off the side of the mountains. This is an amazing university. We don't want to scare them off.
No, I'm just.
We don't want to scare them off.
Right. But it's a beautiful campus. It's a beautiful island, all of it. And when the plane, I will stop talking about it because it's making me want to go back.
And get me a T-shirt when you can come back.
I got you on a T-shirt vibe. You know, so, but when I think about what they have to offer, I get excited. Like you're talking about PhD programs, you're talking about nursing, you're talking about psychology, teaching, and all those things. And then again, you're doing it on the island. Like you can take your work to the beach. Yeah. So, you know, what are some of the things? Some of the other things that the UVI often competes in the NAIA HBCUs athletic conference with 17 Buccaneer teams from basketball and cross country to track and field. The Elkridge Blake Sports and Fitness Center seats about 3,500, and it hosts the annual Paradise Jam tournament. And on the island of St. Croix, they, you know, they offer basketball courts, soccer, well-lit, flood-lit fields, like all the things for year-round competition. So when you get over there, you can immerse yourself in something. And then I'm quite sure if you don't want to do any of those things, you can then, of course, go to the beach.
Go to the beach. Listen, the beach is it. The beach is it. Wow. You know, that's amazing that, you know, that they do those types of things. And, you know, one of the things that I really like is the fact that if you are a native Virgin Islander, there's actually special programs for you as well. You know, Virgin Islanders benefit from the Higher Education Scholarship Program, which is free tuition under Act 8155. The UVI Institutional Scholarship rewards undergraduates who have a 2.5 or higher. That's excellent. everybody's getting access to the money to get an education, that intellectual property.
Right.
And graduate students who have a 3.5 or higher get access to money. In 2025, the CFVI awarded $177,000 to local students. Now, overall, 70% of UVI students receive grants averaging $6,411. And that actually covers 39% of their tuition costs.
Wow.
Which is excellent.
Yeah, like, you can't beat that, right?
No.
39%, almost 40% of your
40% of your tuition, and red snapper, and rice and peas, and the beach.
Man.
Listen.
Yo, they got this. So, it's called Gladys's. In St. Thomas. It's in, oh my God, it's like on the main strip, off the main strip. Like one of the best breakfast spots ever. My son had some curry goat.
Gladys's curry goat for breakfast.
Yeah.
That's excellent.
Yeah. I mean, yeah. And it's a nice little area. It's down the street from like where all the shops are, like jewelry and all those jewelry stores and everything like that. And right in this cut is this restaurant. Oh my God. It was so good. Shout out to Gladys's. Good food. So but you're talking about students who 2.5 GPA or greater are receiving scholarships or rewarded scholarships.
And that's excellent. It definitely helps, people get that opportunity. Because we have some students they're just slow starters.
Yeah.
And that GPA, once it goes down, it takes a lot of work to get it back up.
Yep. I tell people all the time, you get 1-0, you need 300s to get a passing grade.
Wow.
You know what I'm saying? It's crazy. So you talked about the 2.5, the 3.5, the scholarship and everything. So let's dive into what the tuition and the mandatory fees are for UVI and what makes this HBCU accessible to underserved populations and how do they support student success. So when you think about the tuition and mandatory fees for full-time undergrad in the school year 2025 to 2026, the total $2,650 per semester for residents and $7,950 for non-residents, right? So when we talk about residents, non-residents, so anyone that is a Virgin Islander, right? St. Croix, St. Thomas, St. John, and I believe you'll hear when we play the interview, I believe she says anyone coming from the British Virgin Islands also qualify in that. I'm not 100% sure, but we can double check, right? So your tuition is essentially almost $5,000 for the year, almost $6,000 for the year. And then if you're coming in from the States, right, you're talking about almost $16,000 a year for tuition there.
Well, that's not bad.
Right? No, I mean,
it's not bad.
Yeah. So room and board plus fees bring the on-campus cost of attendance to $22,000, right, for those who are residents, to $33,000 annually. After grants and scholarships, net price drops to around $16,000 for residents, making the UVI one of the most affordable HBCUs under the sun. So just recap that, right? You're talking about almost $5,612 for residents for tuition. That's just to go. You're talking about $15,500 for those individuals who are coming from everyone else, every place else, right? A year. That's just to go. So now you bring in your residents living on campus and other fees, $22,000 to $33,000. But when you add in all the grants that you just talked about, and you say 39% of your tour, you're bringing down that cost to $16,000
Wow. For the year.
for the year.
Oh, sitting here thinking about rising up. Anyway, don't worry about me. I'm thinking about rising up.
I'm not. I hear you. It's making you
Yeah, it's
sleepy.
yeah. It's like mentally.
Oh, I got you.
You getting the itis and I ain't even ate yet.
Right. That's crazy. That's that Caribbean food to do it to you all the time.
Yeah, food, sun, sand. You know, listen.
So, but the
I can't even imagine.
You can't. But think about what the next closest under the sun HBCU with that tropical vibe is. It's like in Miami. It's in Florida, right? Whether it's Edward Waters
Or Bethune. It's close to the beach.
Close to the beach. Daytona, Florida Memorial, like not too far from. I mean, it's in Miami Gardens, but not too far.
But that Miami water is not turquoise blue.
I mean,
so
it is when you get to South Beach.
Okay.
Yeah, but
there ain't no HBCU right there.
I mean, not right there.
Listen, this HBCU we talking about today, is right on the turquoise water.
Right. You're right.
It's right on the turquoise water.
Right.
I mean, it's the only one that's outside of the continental United States, and it's a land grant institution. You know, the UVI, you know, has a mission. You know, their mission is to educate and empower the Virgin Islands, the Caribbean, and the wider world. You know, fostering, you know, student success. You know, a lot of times, you know, people forget that, you know, those are still our people.
Right.
You know, their ship just stopped there first, and then it came up and dropped off my people in North Carolina.
Okay.
But it's still the same thing. So, you know, we gotta keep that connectivity, that cultural connectivity.
Right.
That's what I like about, you know, the Virgin Islands being an HBCU and still competing against schools in the continental United States. So it creates, you know, a connection. You know, this connection, you know, it fosters student success. It, you know, allows them to do innovative, you know, majors such as marine science, sustainability research, you know, talking about the coral reef, you know, social and economic transformation for the region of the area. Because we know HBCUs, they bring life to the community.
Right.
So this one is bringing life to a whole island. That's amazing. That's amazing.
That is ultimately amazing. And one fact that I want to touch on is, you know, you'll hear the term HBCU, historically black colleges and universities, right? And then instantly everyone who may not be, you know, black or, you know, African American with the terms that you want to use will instantly believe that that university is not for them, or any of the universities are not for them that are HBCUs. But HBCUs are for everyone. And in fact, when you look at the University of Virgin Islands, there are a number of students who reap the benefits of, you know, the low cost tuition to go study marine biology and marine science and, you know, the national parks, like the national parks on St. John. So yes, you'll hear the term historically black colleges and universities, but, you know, we are our universities are for everyone, right? And we're inclusive for all the things. So just wanted to touch on that. So what makes the UVI the soul of the Caribbean? And, you know, before we dive into that, we're going to play this interview for you from the department chair of the educational department there at UVI, Dr. Karen Brown, actually the dean and professor of the School of Education. So I apologize for that. So this is where we highlight a student, a faculty, a staff member, or an alumni here to talk about their experience and the things that they're doing on, you know, on campus, and in this particular case, on, you know, the University of Virgin Islands. So, you know, sit back, enjoy the interview, and we'll be back to discuss, you know, what other significance and importance the UVI plays in shaping the culture in the community of the Caribbean, and why it's the soul of the Caribbean. HBCU SOUL. We'll be back.
All right, check it out.
Kareem Penn, Chair of Education at the University of Virgin Islands. Just trying to get a feel and an understanding of what the University of Virgin Islands is doing in their education department to prepare students to be effective teachers in the classroom. So, Dean, how do you feel the University of Virgin Islands is preparing its students to be effective teachers in the classroom?
Sure. So Dr. Karen Harris-Brown, Dean of the School of Education here at UVI, and what we have done is to engage our community. We have tried to be more innovative in our offerings. So at the undergraduate level, we have a Bachelor's of Arts in Elementary Education, and then for inclusive early childhood education. And that's a focus at the early childhood level from birth to, I would say, third grade. We have offered or are offering a certificate program for those who are child care assistants, paraprofessionals,
Right.
and then created a pathway with that program. So get a certificate, but then we tell them, well, you took those courses, you take these courses, you can get an AA.
Right.
You don't have to take anything outside of that, but you just continue on, right? And then you get the AA. Well, you know what? If you take these courses, you end up with a BA.
Right.
And you can even teach in a K-12 system, or what do you think of? And the first thing they're going to say is teaching, right? And yeah, and that's great, right? We want teachers, but guess what? I'm a speech language pathologist.
Wow. Yeah. Yes.
My PhD's in special education, okay? And had I not followed the advice of my advisor when I was working on my master's degree in speech pathology, right? I wouldn't have had those courses for certification purposes. I wouldn't have worked in the school system. I wouldn't have worked in a central office. I worked in 2 central offices, Hillsborough County Schools in Florida.
Okay.
Tampa,
Tampa,
right?
Yeah.
And Broward County Schools.
Okay.
In Florida,
Wow.
right? And so had I not had that experience, I wouldn't have been able to work in a school or college of education. This is my 3rd one.
Okay.
My 3rd school or college, because here we call it the School of Education. Other places they call it the College of Education. Right. And I had not had that experience, then I wouldn't have even been considered to be a dean in education. So there, I let them know there are different ways, different pathways when you're looking at education, and yes, myself as a teacher, many teachers who became speech pathologists afterwards.
Yeah. Guidance counselors.
Absolutely.
Curriculum writers.
Yes, educational diagnosticians.
Yes.
Absolutely. So we also do a lot of grow your own initiatives. We work with the Virgin Islands Department of Education. We have cohorts, school psychology cohort, a school counselor cohort, and we also have what's the other one? A Paris to Pros program, a cohort with those individuals. We're in the process of renewing our agreements, memo of understanding with the Virgin Islands Department of Education. And it's not just local. We have a cohort in the British Virgin Islands.
Okay.
Yeah, we have teachers who are secondary teachers. So, a lot of people, they say, I don't want to go into education. And they didn't follow the advice of their advisor like I did, right? And so then they graduate with that biology degree, that whatever degree. And then they say, you know what? I think I want to teach.
So we want to thank Dr. Brown for, sharing her insight and innovation and, ways to break through the barriers of, students are facing, whether that's the financial, whether that is the, what it is that I want to major in, what careers do I have after that. So Dr. Brown gave us some insight to that. So we want to thank her for taking the time to do that.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
That was an amazing interview. Just being on the campus. And it's crazy because we landed and, I had to go I had to go for a funeral. So we land, and I'm like, I need some footage. I want to, you know, go visit the campus. I got some time to kill. So we get there. I had no like idea that I was gonna run into this woman.
Wow.
You know, so I get on campus, taking pictures, doing all the things, and I just happened to stumble across, you know, the educational department. Go in, and I'm like, I tell her what we're doing, and she's like, sure. And you know, I was so excited to be there, and I guess I was thinking about Snapper and you know, rice and peas and all the things.
Oh, yeah.
I forgot to take the camera lens off.
Yeah.
So that's why if you know, were listening to it, it looks like a voiceover, and I have the thing. It's because I forgot to take the lens cap off. I thought I was doing big things, but that red snapper and all the things.
Listen, jet lag combined with red snapper, combined with rice and peas.
Yeah.
Yeah, it could happen to anybody.
Yeah.
I understand.
So what makes, and she touched on it a couple of times in her interview, but you know, what makes the UVI the soul of the Caribbean, right? What does it contribute to the broader narrative of Black excellence, resilience, and empowerment? So the University of Virgin Islands is the soul of the Caribbean because it serves a crucial educational, cultural, and research institution, serves as those things for the U.S. Virgin Islands and the broader Caribbean region. Here are 4 key reasons why. I'm gonna let my man Ant talk about what those reasons are.
All right. Well, I'm going to say 5 reasons because Snapper is probably number 1. Maybe 6. Snapper is number 1, rice and peas, number 2. But the official 4 are that, you know, UVI is the only university in the Virgin Islands making higher education accessible for island residents and students across the Caribbean. You know, it provides a platform for the academic advancement of students who might otherwise lack local options because it's the only HBCU there.
Mm-hmm.
You know, also as a historically Black college and university, you know, outside of the continental United States, it offers a diverse and inclusive environment. You know, celebrating multiculturalism, connecting people from different backgrounds. You know, it plays a vital role in building a close-knit community and promoting social cohesion. You know, I mean, the athletic events at UVI are like it's like a celebration.
Right.
You know, everybody comes out to the arena.
Right.
And it just creates, you know, just a close-knit family type atmosphere.
So it's funny you say that because one of the events that they hold is the annual Jam Festival basketball. So they hold a basketball tournament. Winston-Salem State was out there. I believe it was Florida Memorial. There was another HBCU plus the University of Virgin Islands. So they spent an entire weekend out there.
Wow.
Right? So you're talking about not only people from the Caribbean, but now you're bringing in other communities from the States to come in and take part in this.
You know, I like that because, you know, you got, you know, people coming from the continental United States and they're bringing their culture, they're bringing, you know, music, they're bringing fashion, they're bringing, you know, bringing everything. And then when they go to the Virgin Islands, they're probably bringing some of that culture and different things that they pick up back to their campuses as well.
Yeah.
So it really, really creates like a nice, you know, connection.
Yeah.
Of the cultures.
Yeah, I brought back, you know, some rum.
Really?
Yeah.
And you brought back a T-shirt. One T-shirt. You didn't bring 2. You brought 1.
I did bring back some rum.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Interesting.
I did. Go ahead and continue.
Anyway, all right, so the UVI actually engages in research that addresses regional and global challenges such as the coral reef protection, cybersecurity, and renewable energy initiatives. The university also contributes to local economic growth through entrepreneurship programs and community partnerships. All right, so with generous financial assistance and affordable tuition, you know, UVI makes, you know, world-class education attainable for students who might otherwise be excluded due to financial barriers. The university maintains that pristine 20-to-1 ratio. I love it. 20-to-1 ratio, and it offers a personalized learning and provides a robust academic support to ensure student success. I personally think that all of these qualities make UVI a vital institution for the Virgin Islands, the Caribbean, and increasingly for global networks in education, research, and culture.
So I picked this up. It's rum cream
Okay.
from St. Croix.
Okay.
I mean, you said I didn't bring you anything back.
Oh, this is mine?
Yeah.
Okay.
Cruising, right? Not advertising, but that St.
All right. Another one of the reasons that, that the Caribbean comes to mind is that, they have excellent, rums and different products and different food items that are only available in the Caribbean. Thank you. I appreciate you.
Yeah.
But,
you can probably put it in your coffee.
I can't walk around and advertise an HBCU with this,
Yeah.
Could have been a t-shirt.
Could have been.
Could have been a t-shirt, my friend.
I got you. I think I have to go back in January, so I'll bring you one back from there. So, and we talked a lot about, the University of Virgin Islands, what it has to offer, what the campus life is like, what students will be experiencing if they're, anybody out there in the continental United States wants to, essentially travel abroad, right?
Mm-hmm.
Over to the UVI. And, we heard from Dr. Brown and all the good things that her department is doing to knock down the barriers. I still have red snapper in my head.
Listen, give me some red snapper, give me some rice and peas, whatever else the Virgin Islands has to offer.
Man.
And I'm eating all of that on the beach, just to let you know.
Oh my God.
Everything on the beach.
We talked about driving in the mountains. We talked about all the things, right? But the thing that we want you all to come away with is we open with, we're about highlighting and exposure. And again, I'm gonna stick to, I don't think there were many people out there that knew that the Virgin Islands had an historically Black college and university.
Yeah, I don't think so. I didn't know.
Right, so that's that highlighting part and exposing part. And if there's anyone out there who watches this from the University of Virgin Islands, right? If you want to hop on, do your own thing and share what the University of Virgin Islands has to offer, by all means do so. But, we look at our mission, like, would you say this, it resonates with me. Like, this is something that I would probably want to follow and learn about. Like, different HBCU, every episode, and I'm just learning about.
Every episode, we dropping something new. This person resonates with me, for a lot of different reasons, particularly because it's one that I didn't really know existed. So if this resonates with you as well, subscribe, rate the podcast, share this episode with a student or family considering college, because there's actually an HBCU in the U.S. Virgin Islands. And now you know.
Right.
And now you know.
Now you know. So, and again, the experience, and even if you go visit the Virgin Islands, right, go visit the UVI. Go visit the University of Virgin Islands. Take pictures from the campus. We're sharing videos with you and some pictures, and those are the real life images of what you're going to see at the UVI. So I have a few nuggets, some things that I want to drop in the comments below. As we talk about, last week was, or 2 weeks ago, I can't remember, but I think it was last week.
Yeah, I think so.
National HBCU Week,
yeah.
Right? But it shouldn't just be tied to 1 week, right? HBCUs, you're there, you're going to school, you need to continue to expose and highlight. So one of the things that I'm going to ask you all to do, there's 3 actually. What is one thing, and we're about to move into October next week. Mm-hmm. So think about October. That's when all of the homecomings at HBCUs are going to start, right? Homecoming, and we'll do some episodes and talk about the homecomings and this, that, and the other. But as you move into the month of October, I want you to think about, for those who are students, current students, faculty, staff, alumni, or those who are even thinking about going to an HBCU, what is one thing you can do to support your HBCU this month, right? So October, what is one thing that you can do, right, to help support that? Think about that. And if you want to share that, you can drop that in the comments as well. What is one thing you can do, you all can do, to support your HBCU? The other thing is, how can you amplify the soul of your HBCU school community? So in this case, we're talking about the UBI, but any HBCU school community in the 18 states that have HBCU. What is one way you can amplify it? Ant and I are sitting here and we're talking about HBCUs and bringing this to you all through this channel.
This is amplified.
It is, right? So think about what is another thing that you can do in our school systems, throughout the country. Take a trip to an HBCU, college tours, college trip, like all of those things. What are some things you can do to do that? And then the last thing, which value should every HBCU embody? We know that a lot of HBCUs were founded with the idea of this educational, spiritual, nurturing, cultural, like essentially overcoming adversity foundation. Right? Mm-hmm. So in every HBCU, you're gonna find that in it. But what are some other things, or what is another value that every HBCU should embody, right? I know we're talking about UBI, but just across the board. So I'll drop those in the comments. If you want to share those things, fine. If you don't, it's just something that you want to think about, and find a way to contribute to it, by all means do so.
Excellent.
So, and I enjoyed this journey. Like, I felt like as we were talking, like I just keep envisioning the UBI, like everything from the water to the mountains to the uninhabited islands that are over there.
Really?
Yeah.
So we're back in Baldwin with my next check.
Maybe.
Uninhabited, all right, I gotta check that off.
But then if you do that, do I get the right to say you just bought an island and didn't buy anything for me? You didn't bring anything back?
Who said I wasn't buying you one?
Oh, I appreciate that. All right, so, the ferries to St. John, the ferries to St. Croix, boating over to, Tortola. It is an experience like no other. And to be able to go to school, like a university, while experiencing these things, the food, the culture, the music, it is, I don't know how else to explain it. You need to go, you need to see it. So the UBI was founded in resistance, built with excellence, and remains rooted in service. It continues to shape generations of trailblazers, creators, and freedom fighters. People who carry the torch of progress for the Black America and the Caribbean.
Listen, that just sounds like HBCU SOUL. Just all those different things that you said. And that's why here at HBCU SOUL, we're going to always continue to tell the stories, celebrate the wins, and keep the conversation moving forward.
Yeah. So,
right.
Yeah. So, I'll be, like I said, I got to go back over in January, take care of some things. But
2X.
I got you.
A 2X t-shirt.
I got
just
you.
to let you know.
And then
don't come back without it.
I got you. I'm trying to get my daughter. Like, I asked my daughter if she wanted to go to the University of Virgin Islands.
Oh yeah, she needs to go because then she's gonna need help moving in.
Right.
All
the things.
Yeah, because I'm an excellent mover into dorms and everything.
Yeah. So, because your sons go to an HBCU.
That's right. Both of them.
And you had to move them both in.
Yeah, I had to move them in. Right. So,
So you got.
I'm used to that.
Right. So I'm thinking more along the lines of like connecting her with family while she's over there. Because I don't see myself like packing a whole lot of stuff and flying it over.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just she just needs to pack clothes. Yeah, because that's hell of expensive. Yeah. So, want to close with this. The UBI embodies the soul of HBCUs through resilience, community, and boundless opportunity. From the island roots to global reach, it's proof that legacy thrives wherever we set our roots.
That's right. That's right. You know, next week, we're actually going to be marching to the heart of HBCU band traditions.
Okay.
So let's get ready for brass, bass, and pure energy.
Right, because you know, the next time we're in it, like,
Yeah.
it's homecoming.
Homecoming's kicking in.
Yeah.
Homecoming's kicking in, you know.
So we got to figure out.
I have a favorite sousaphone player,
Okay.
you know, who marches in a certain, I'm not going to put him out there because, you know, he gets inundated with autograph recommendations and everything. Yeah, he's famous.
I didn't get one.
Hey, listen. He's the Seuss god.
I got it.
Maybe one day we'll have to bring him on the podcast live
And let him play?
with the sousaphone. Yes.
We can do that.
Okay.
We can do that. We can do that.
He'll be ready.
Hey, we just need to figure out what school we want to talk about next.
I know. I mean, there's so many amazing marching bands, you know. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Didn't there someone play Monday night, last night, at the
At the game?
Yeah, I could have sworn Southern was playing at, or somebody played at a game, either Saturday night, Sunday night, or Monday night. I think it was Southern. I can't remember.
Okay.
Forgive me if I'm wrong, but I do believe. But that's just another aspect of the exposure that HBCUs are
The
getting.
marching band is a whole different situation.
Whole different. We can
Whole
spend a
different
whole
situation.
episode on just marching band
Yeah.
at
definitely.
one school.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Definitely.
So until then, we see you next. Dive deeper into the UBI at ubi.edu. You can follow us at HBCU Soul Podcast, HBCU Soul on YouTube, on Instagram. And anybody out there want to share their stories after you watch this about the University of the Virgin Islands, please do so. Until then, stay soulful.
Students on road, 100 HBCUs across the country, within 20 states, up to District Columbia. Grab my hand and I won't stay wrong. Packing bags, man, we gotta get gone. On the road, man, this ride really long. Keep your composure, you're not the only one. Now let's slide, C-9, a significant part about the culture. Omega BSI 5. What's the first fraternity in a host? I don't know about you, but what I seen at the homecoming was scenery. I don't know about you, but what I seen at the homecoming was a movie scene. Now look, you can't forget about Alabama. And yeah, Cheney University, the oldest one. Like 1837 or something. Like, I'm trying to get the money like Richard Humphrey, put a school on my land for my people. I hope you want to do the same too. I recommend you at HBCU.